Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Monday, May 8th, and as I told you yesterday, we're going to be in the book of Lamentations, probably for the majority of the week. And what I want to do is draw some comparisons between what happened in Lamentations and what's happening now. Now, to give you a little bit of a backstory, Jeremiah is believed to be the author of Lamentations, and he would have been one of the eyewitnesses to the destruction of the holy city and the disbursement of God's people and them being exiled off to Babylon and all of that. So he saw all of this devastation firsthand, and he's writing about this devastation. Now, as this continues on, it personifies the city of Jerusalem as a person. But we have to keep in mind that personification, what it means is it refers to Jerusalem as if it's a person, and what it has lost, why it's lost it, and all of that is going to come together in this book of Lamentations. So in chapter 1 it says, "How lonely sits the city that was full of people. How like a widow has she become. She who was great among the nations, she who was a princess among the provinces, has become a slave." Think about how dependent the United States is on other countries for oil, for all sorts of different products and things like that. And we're losing our ability to be the high power of the world that we once were. "She weeps bitterly in the night with tears on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she has none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They have become her enemies." So these countries that were once our allies are now giving us these shortages in supplies, and we're so dependent on them that we're kind of stuck. "Judah has gone into exile because of affliction and hard servitude. She dwells now among the nations, but finds no resting place. Her pursuers have all overtaken her in the midst of her distress. The roads to Zion mourn, for none come to the festival. All her gates are desolate. Her virgins have been afflicted, and she herself suffers bitterly." Now, I'm not going to read this entire chapter to you because it is pretty long and we're already so far into the video, but I wanted to give you some things to really chew upon. So I'm jumping to verse 8. "Jerusalem sinned grievously. Therefore she became filthy. All who honored her despise her, for they have seen her nakedness. She herself groans and turns her face away. Her uncleanness was in her skirts. She took no thought of her future. Therefore her fall is terrible. She has no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy has triumphed." So what this is all about is the sin that was in Jerusalem brought about this destruction, and God allowed it. He allowed it to happen. So as we jump to verse 15, "The Lord rejected all my mighty men in my midst. He summoned assembly against me to crush my young men. The Lord has trodden, as in a winepress, the virgin daughter of Judah." Now, I'm going to trust you to go ahead and read all of Lamentations 1 yourself, but here's the bottom line. God is not all cozy fuzzy and everything's peachy keen and he's always full of mercy and all of that. Yeah, he is a merciful God, absolutely, especially to followers of Jesus Christ. However, he does not tolerate sin, and if we are not doing anything to atone for that sin and entering into that relationship with Christ, he is eventually going to say, enough is enough. You'll be punished for that sin. And as a nation, we are getting farther and farther away from God. We are not going to him for that atonement. We're not going to him to be covered with that free gift of grace. We're putting ourselves on the throne and saying, I want to be the one in charge. I want to decide what's right. I want to decide all these things. And as a nation, that's where we are. Now, as believers, it's our job to speak up. As believers, it's our job to keep pointing out that sin and keep reminding them that God's grace is still available. It's not too late. And we need to just keep on pointing out and keep on pointing it out. As you go into your prayer closet today, pray for the United States of America, because we're in a very tough time. And the decisions that are being made, the direction that we're going, is very pivotal and very closely tied to what happened back in Jerusalem, back in that book of Lamentations. If we don't turn back to God, he's eventually going to say, enough is enough. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.